unfamiliar with Our Lady of Sorrows, that's where I live, and on campus, right at the edge of Owensville Road, maybe 8 years ago, 10 years ago, the Knights of Columbus installed a flagpole, an American flag. And for the first time since I've been here in South County, I had to lower that flag to half staff. There's been tragedies in my priesthood before, but this is the first time it fell to me. That was my responsibility. And as I lowered the flag, I reflected and prayed. Because that flagpole has a light at the top of it so that we don't have to take the flag down at night. And as I lowered the flag, there's bushes there, and it sort of was like subsumed by the bushes almost. It was moving away from the light into the darkness. What an apt metaphor for our country right now, for our church, enveloped in darkness. The shooting that took place on Wednesday when school children at Annunciation Catholic School were celebrating Mass for the opening of the school year is something that's hit closer to home. And in reflecting on it, and I knew I had to say something to the people, but what to say? How do we process? And I've come up with two questions that I think we all want the answers to, and by reflecting upon these two questions in light of the gospel, I think it'll help. First question, why? Why did this happen? We see it on all the news reports that have been coming out of the past few days, all across the internet, all across social media. Why? What did the shooter write in his manifesto? What's it mean that the shooter identified as trans? Is it a clue, or does it mean something that his mom worked for the school beforehand? What were his political views? What did he write on the guns? And at the end of it, after hearing all of it, brothers and sisters, I don't care. You know what I learned from this tragedy? Something we already knew. Evil is real. And it's out there. And we have to acknowledge that. But there's nothing we can learn from evil. There is nothing for us to gain by investigating the mind of a sick individual. And as shocking and as difficult and as horrible and as sad as it is, the why of it all is not unknown to us. These are the sort of things the Lord told us to expect. And it's a story as old as the church. In 103 AD, a man named Ignatius was serving as bishop of Antioch. Ignatius claimed that St. Peter installed him as the bishop of Antioch. Decades passed. The Romans come and arrest him, drag him in chains to Rome, and feed him to wild animals in the Colosseum, to the roar of cheering crowds. In 1170 AD, a man named Thomas, T.S. Eliot wrote a play about him. His name was Thomas à Becket. Very famous movie starring Peter O'Toole. Great actor. Well, Peter O'Toole played Henry II, who was Thomas's childhood friend. And to gain power, Henry appointed Thomas as Archbishop of Canterbury, head of the Church of England. Thomas had a conversion, started to preach against his friend, and Henry was complaining about this. And 4 knights overheard what the king was saying about Thomas. So they marched to the cathedral and killed him as he led his priests in prayer. Right there in Canterbury Cathedral. How about one that's a bit more recent? In the 1980s, there was a civil war in El Salvador, and a man named Oscar was Archbishop of San Salvador. Oscar preached against the government of the day and the various evil things that the government was doing to its own people. And as he celebrated Mass, as he lifted the chalice filled with the precious blood of our Lord, just as I will do in but a few minutes, someone in the back of church shot him. He died right next to the altar. His blood mingled with that of Christ's. These things shouldn't surprise us. They have been going on for time immemorial. And so that brings us to our next question. What to do? What do we do now? There's a lot of debate about thoughts and prayers. I've been seeing that all over the internet recently. The only person who would disparage thoughts and prayers is someone who does not believe in the power of prayer. Prayer is where we begin. It's where all things begin. And it is necessary now more than ever. Pray. But what to do? What should the government do? What should the church do? How should we respond? Brothers and sisters, I think we should respond the same way as generation after generation of Catholics have responded to evil. That is to do nothing. Evil doesn't dictate what we believe. Evil doesn't dictate how we act and what we do. We are gathered together at Mass. The same exact thing those children and teachers were doing. Good. That's the right response. Because our faith cannot be shattered in the face of events like these. And we must stand boldly and courageously and together with one voice, with the voice of Jesus Christ himself, we must all say no to evil. You will not break us. We will continue to pray. We will continue to believe. We will continue to gather. Despite our fear, despite our sorrow, despite anything that might tell us otherwise. Because what we know, brothers and sisters, is that God is here present in this moment, in this Mass, in this place. And if we question and ask ourselves, where was God on that day? Where was Jesus Christ? He was lying on the floor with those children, suffering right alongside them. And today, he gathers them to himself. And those poor 2 little children who died, today he holds out his hands and says, look what they did to me. I see they did the same to you. It's okay now. I'm here. John's Gospel begins with a beautiful poem. And I'd like to end my homily today with reciting the first 5 verses of John's Gospel. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And he was in the beginning with God. And all that came to be through him. And without him, nothing came to be. And what came to be was life. And this life is the light of the human race. And the light shines in the darkness. And the darkness shall never overcome it.